What's going on? Barbecue Late Night Live here. I am your host, Andrew, aka the Grill Sergeant, coming in from Los Angeles, California. Unfortunately, my buddy and BFF, Jared, couldn't make it here tonight. He's a little under the weather right now, so y'all keep Jared in your prayers. But that don't mean we can't have a fun Barbecue Late Night Live show tonight. So before we dive in, I do want to do a special shout out to Brian from Castle Hives. Thank you for being a awesome channel sponsor. And for those who left super chats last week, I do want to give some shout outs. Again, thank you to Brian from Castle Hives. We got Carol Long, Ben H, Meredith McDaniel, Bobby Catton, and Killer Whales channel. You guys were so awesome that, in fact, we're going to do a little bit celebration because y'all went wild last time. I got some Eagle Rare right here. And I just want to do a quick cheers because y'all rocked the live stream chat last time we went live. So I'm pouring this one for you guys out there. Cheers to the super chatters for last week. And if you basically want your name on that, we will be looking at the chat. So let me say hi to the people that are hopping in right now. We got Brian up in there. You know, Brian's always early, and he's throwing his little custom emojis. Now, if y'all want the custom barbecue emojis, do hit that join button and become a monthly sponsor, and y'all get to use those awesome little barbecue icons. We got TPC up in here. Welcome, welcome. Congrats on the new camera. We got Meredith. You know, Meredith, she's like, you know, I'm not going to say old faithful. She's young faithful. She's always up in here. We got Madwood coming in. We got the Freedom Brothers, Sent 1000. What is going on? And we got Frack, and he's saying, hey, man, I'm sorry I can't make it, but it is all good, Frack. I got this one on lockdown. So with that being said, we're going to let a few more people come in. So today we are going to be talking about a awesome woodworker. And like what I showed you in the last live stream, let me show you this board behind me, because you look at this board right here. It looks kind of small, right? And then you actually look at the actual size of this thing. And this thing is, I mean, look, you can't even see me. I'm hiding back here. This thing is massive. And I mean, the weight on this thing, you know, I stopped going to the gym because, you know, I just have to carry this board everywhere I go, and I can get some epic gains. But yeah, this has a lot of awesome features. So tonight's guest, let me bring him on. He's actually the awesome creator of this board. Oof, man, I almost pulled out my back there carrying that thing. So without further ado, let me get Trent up in here. So everyone, welcome Trent to the live stream. What is going on, Trent? If you want to introduce yourself and give a little background.
I'm Trent. I'm a ninja by trade. I have 3 martial arts schools, and I got into woodworking during the Rona because I need to escape the craziness of the world at the time. And yeah, so right on. Yeah, it's very interesting that, you know, through this pandemic, a lot of it's like you just kind of have to recreate yourself, and then, you know, obviously things are shut down. And I remember, you know, right at the start of the corona, like, oh, okay, I'm now, you know, not working. You're left to your own. And so that's kind of how I really started pushing into the YouTube thing. And it's, you know, it's definitely blown up. So little backstory on how I found Trent is I was scrolling Instagram, and I came upon, let me actually just get this, let me get this thing out of the way. So I came upon, you know, obviously through Instagram, you're scrolling through, and what caught my eye was this Instagram page. And for those that, you know me and are regulars at this channel, what got me into barbecue was actually woodworking. I was restoring an old grill, and you know, I love everything about woodworking, and that led me into a love for barbecue. But when I found this, you know, Instagram page, I wanted to, just reach out to, whoever this Zappen Woodworks was, because I'm looking at this, like, say, this was actually the board, Trent. This was the board that caught my eye, because a lot of this, I'm familiar with certain hardwoods, but all these woods that I'm seeing on your page, they're like, I think this middle one, as you told me, is like quilted maple. I've never seen, a lot of these, woods before. So this was actually the inspiration for the board that I wanted you to make me. And I think you posted it right here, and you did it. I mean, absolutely baller. I absolutely love it. It's so funny. It's almost too nice, where I'm like, I almost don't want to even carve in on it. I'm like, I just don't want to, I just want to maybe just use this as a serving board. To see it in, let me get over here. To see it in action, pretty much this was one of the last cooks I did. It was a brisket cook, and at the end, I made this like epic tray. And mind you, that's like I believe this is, I can't remember the size of this board, but it's something epic. It's like 16 by 20 or something like that. It's a very big board. And just having that space is just so, what kind of urged me to reach out is, a lot of people would watch my videos, and when I'd cook brisket, the brisket's hanging over the side of like these small little tiny boards I'm using. And everyone would comment, they're like, bro, you really have to get a bigger board, this and that. So I think it was kind of like a mixture of fate and, just scrolling on Instagram. And then to find out that we're pretty much, I would say maybe an hour apart. So it's pretty cool that you're local to the LA area as well. So that is definitely pretty cool. We got a few more people hopping in the chat. I see NM. I see Charlie with Pickles Barbecue. Welcome. And so, yeah, as far as as far as what got you into the business. So this was pretty much, tell me a little bit about your backstory of, I remember when I shared with you that it was woodworking that got me into barbecue. And then you were saying the flip side of that. Do you want to expand on that?
Yeah. So, I like to cook. It's something I've always done. It relaxes me. And I take a lot of pride in it. I think like probably most of the people on this channel right now. So I'm kind of honored to be on this channel.
Nice.
Yeah, I wanted, the cutting board that I had was crap, and I wanted a nice cutting board, and I just got done building some outdoor furniture that we needed for our like little fire pit outside. And so I'm like, I'm going to make a cutting board. And I made one, and a family member saw it, and she was like, oh, I want that. And so then I made her one, and then I was going to make some as like Christmas gifts.
Mm-hmm.
Because with the Rona, we weren't sure what was going to happen with the business, how that was all going to, play out. So I figured, you know what, I bought a bunch of wood. I'm going to go ahead and just make a bunch of Christmas gifts. And then I displayed some at the dojo and put some on Facebook. And then all of a sudden, I really haven't stopped making them. But it was really my love for cooking that kind of got me into making these cutting boards and some various other things. Because I figure, you're going to put a lot of love and effort into your cook. You may as well make it look good when you display it. So I want a nice cutting board. So
nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Now, as far as as far as the as far as looking at your boards and stuff, like, what is it like when looking at the equipment that you use to actually make these boards? Like, what's some of the tools that you use to make the said boards?
I have I have a chop saw, I have a planer and a joiner. When I first started, I didn't have any of that. I just had a hand saw and did a lot of sanding and gluing. And after I sold a couple boards, I bought a jointer, and that was huge.
Yeah.
Because that just made things seam up a lot easier. And then after that, I got a planer. I built a workbench, a big workbench. It's like 8 feet by 3.5 feet tall. It's big. It's bigger than I really need, but that's okay. I have different stations for it. And then I ended up getting a dust collection system because my wife was concerned about all the dust, because I wasn't wearing a mask and I didn't really know any different. So then I got a respirator, and yeah, so I'm out there in the mornings when I wake up before I go into the dojos, usually around 10 or 11 o'clock. I'm out there for a couple hours, and when I get home, I'm usually out there for about an hour, just putting stuff together for people that want something. So
right on. And I believe the term, I don't think they call it sawdust anymore. They call it man glitter.
Man glitter, yeah. I have a sign above my outdoor freezer that says man glitter. Yeah.
Nice. That's awesome. We got Aaron from BBQ by Biggs up in here. We got Laura coming all the way from Canada. Welcome. So now we have our international live stream set up. So man, we got some awesome people up in here tonight. Welcome. If you can, actually, you know what's funny is one of the when I had my little stint in woodworking. Let me show you this, Trent. This is pretty funny. Let me get this right down over here. Oof. So I had this idea, and so it was kind of cool on how, like, sometimes, like, when you envision something, and so 6-pack holder, you know, whatever, it's kind of cool. But what triggered it off is I was at Home Depot and they sell this bottle opener. And so what I did is I took a router and kind of like inlaid it into the wood. And so you have your 6-pack holder, which looks, you know, whatever, rustic. This is just a stain. This is no exotic woods, but you can basically take your, you know, bottle and you can crack it open right there. To me, I thought, you know, just that's the extent of the woodworking. Now, if you actually do see the dovetail. Yeah. So it was, you know, there was a little thought in putting this together. But yeah, so again, when I found your page, it was, you know, I have a background in woodworking, but not extreme and stuff like that. I don't have a jointer or, you know, bandsaw yet, but those are stuff that I was like, oh, that'd be cool one day. But yeah, when I saw your boards, just that, I guess it was the exotic wood that, you know, kind of like drew me in, of just like, man, I've seen, you know, I think even when I was requesting, hey, can you help make this board? I like the walnut you used here. And you're like, but that's not walnut. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Okay. So none of the woods, that I had guessed of what they were. So it was pretty cool. Actually, if you want, let me get this board right here. And maybe if you can actually, walk the guests through, for those that can actually see this, like, so if you want to explain about the 3 types of wood that you use for this board.
Yeah. So the wood on the outside, on both of the outside, is called bubinga. It's an African wood. It's very hard to come by. Then the red line is called bloodwood. And then the centerpiece is called quilted maple. So the quilted maple is really cool because it looks like sand dunes.
Yeah.
But it is buttery smooth on top. But it's very rare. It comes from a maple tree, but not all maple trees produce it.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's very rare and it's not cheap.
So is it for the quilted maple? Do they pretty much have to cut into it to be like, oh, this is quilted, or how does that work?
Yeah, it's just once you start cutting into it, it's a certain section of the tree, and I wish I could, be real exact, but when they start cutting into the tree, they start seeing what that figure looks like. And depending on, so every tree has different types of figures, and sometimes you'll get, like if you look at like walnut, some walnut is just brown and then like really light brown. And then you'll look at walnut and you'll see purples, you'll see yellows, you'll see some, maybe some hints of orange.
Yeah.
And you get this shimmer on it. It's like iridescent looking. And that shoots the cost of walnut up. So like one of the places that I get some of my walnut at, they have their slabs of walnut And so I'll go through all the slabs of walnut looking for certain figures.
Mm.
And then what they do is they try to find it first, and then they'll cut sections off, like 2-foot sections, 3-foot sections, and they'll put it in a different pile.
Yeah.
And then they'll sell it instead of, like, walnut usually goes for, I don't know, $11 to $13 a board foot. They'll sell these special sections of walnut for like $23 a board foot.
Yeah.
And that quilted maple, that I've only seen that come in about 25 inches. So that board, I think, is 25 inches
Wow.
by 16 and a half or 17 inches.
Mm.
And that quilted maple, I bought a piece that was 25 by, I think it was about like 10 or 11 inches wide, about 2 inches thick.
Yeah.
And that one little piece cost me $120 just for that board. So cutting that section for the middle of that board, that's a special piece right there.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's
so
nuts.
I never thought this was gonna be what it's become. The wood is awesome. Like, you cut into one piece, you get one look. You cut in, 2 feet into the same board, and you get a completely different look. So, in the exotic woods, I've just loved playing with. There's some cool different stuff out there. You just got to find it, and it's
Right on.
hard to find.
Nice. Now, when it comes to like the different types of exotic woods, what are some of your personal favorites?
There's a wood called black limba. That's a really cool piece. Everything you make out of that is a one of a kind. You can cut a 20-inch section off, and then do some end grain with that, and then you do another 20-inch section of it, and it's totally different. So there's never one piece the same. So like, if you're on my Instagram and you go through, you'll see some like boards that have some cool designs on it. One looks like a sword, some look like aliens. A lot of that came from the same board, but it's like dark wood on the outside and kind of lighter, and then the patterns are a darker color. That's black limba. Another one is called tamarin. Tamarin is just like the spice. It's the tree that the spice comes from. That one's a lot of fun to play with because there's never a design the same. I try to make my boards different. I never try to do the same board twice unless people, request it. But yeah, so those are 2 of my favorites. I just started playing with another type of wood called bacote, which on the outside is super dark. Like really dark. Some people, might mistake it as like an ebony. But then when you cut into it, it's got kind of like a yellowish tinge, and it kind of gives this tiger type pattern.
Ooh,
so I cut into one just recently, and I made a sushi board out of it because it was awesome. So,
wow, that's cool.
So yeah, I enjoy what I find every time I cut into it. So
right on. I see a few questions in the chat, and if you guys do have any questions, do feel free to put at Grill Sergeant, just so it will show up and it will highlight the question a little bit better. But Charlie from Pickles Barbecue says, do you have a CNC machine or a laser etcher? They're kind of asking about how you got the Grill Sergeant logo in there.
Yeah, I have a laser machine. I don't have a CNC machine. I've thought about it. I think as I continue to do more, I'll probably go out and get one. But I do have a laser that I use.
Right on. And then same from Pickles Barbecue. He says, what's the hardest wood to work with?
Black limba.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a bitch.
Okay.
It's a bitch. Yeah, you can make sure everything's squared up on your table saw, and you can make sure your square is square and everything's squared, and then you cut into that thing, and if it's 70 degrees out, you might be right on and everything will seam up, and then it could be 75 degrees out and the thing will just tweak just a little bit, and then you spend half the day trying to seam everything up. So yeah,
Oh,
the
wow.
black limba is definitely the hardest wood that I work with. Everything else is easy compared to that.
Dang, that's crazy. That is nuts. Right on. So so when it comes to actual things that you do for woodworking, that like you have client referrals, what are like the types of products that you would offer? As far as, you know, I said you did a cutting board, a sushi board. Is there anything else that in a sense you would take on as far as woodworking goes?
I've done little line boards, little small boards that you cut lines with, or, small vegetables. I've done barn doors. I've done some outdoor furniture, some end tables, some pretty basic stuff. I've got a couple people that want me to make some shelving for them. I think that's about it. I think at some point I'm going to build my own outdoor barbecue island.
Nice.
I'm hoping to kind of start looking into that this weekend. We'll see. But yeah, those are the kind of the main things that I work with right now.
Right on. Right on. The TPC says internal tensions in wood are a bitch.
Yes, they are.
That's funny. Meredith, she asks, have the prices of exotic wood, have they gone up just like lumber's going up and stuff like that? Or is that tied into that?
You know
Or
what? I've been pretty surprised. Lumber's out of control. Like it's ridiculous. But the hardwoods really haven't gone up. When I started this last year, I was buying maple for, $5 and cherry for $5 a board foot. And I think walnut was somewhere around anywhere from 9 to 11. Walnut's now around 11 to 13 out where I'm at. So that's gone up a little, but nothing like lumber has. Nothing
Right
like
on.
lumber has. So now the guy that I get a lot of my exotics from, he's always complaining to me about how the tariffs and all this stuff are slowing his ability to get some of the really cool stuff. And I just keep telling him, well, you can't charge me more when you get more. You got to charge me the same. And he's like, oh, okay, we'll see.
Yeah. So. You're one of those loyal clients, man.
Exactly.
Right on. So it looks like Pickles Barbecue wants to place an order. He's looking for some curly maple toothpicks. If you can, whittle the. Man, that would be a.
I don't have a lathe. I don't know if I could do that.
Oh man, that's funny. Now, one of the questions that is actually a pretty good question. Is walk us through how you care for a board, as far as like how do you season it, how do you take care of it, walk us through that.
Yeah, so when I'm done working with a board, everything's ready to go. I put a food safe mineral oil on it, and I let that, I soak it. I don't like dip. Some people will like dip it in and let it sit overnight. I just put a good helping of mineral oil on both sides, and I just let it sit overnight. And then next morning, I polish the wood, and then I get I use a beeswax, and then I'll heat the beeswax up a little bit, and then I put that on the board and let that seep in overnight as well. And I did a little experiment when I did that. So I took some maple and walnut to just mess around with it. And when I let that sit overnight like that, you get it, most of my boards are about 1.5 inch thick. Sometimes they're a little thinner, depending on how cooperative the wood ends up being for me. But they're about 1.5 inch thick, and I get probably about a 1/2 inch absorption top and bottom. So what that means is the between the beeswax and the mineral oil, water's not going to seep into that board for quite some time until it really starts to dry out. But what you typically want to do is when you start using the board, use a light soap, wash it off, dry it off immediately because it is wood, and you don't want any extra water getting in there.
Yeah.
And then about once a month, if you use it a lot, repeat the process. Put some mineral oil on it, let it sit overnight, heat up a little beeswax. I use what they call booze block. And you put that on, you let that sit overnight, and the wood sucks it back up. It brings the color back to life, kind of wakes the board back up, and you're good to go for another month or two, depending on.
So you would do the mineral overnight, and then the next day you'd heat up some beeswax and then rub it in?
Yeah.
And then she's pretty much good to go?
Yeah, and then when you're done doing that, you just buff it out, wax your wood.
You know what's funny is one of our channel sponsors, his name is Brian with Castle Hives, and he's his channel is all about beekeeping. So right when you said beeswax, he immediately commented, he's like, beeswax, yes, awesome, man. So hey, Brian, I might have to have you send me some beeswax. So maybe you can hook it up, Brian. That's funny. I saw one of the there's a few more people that hopped in. Let me say hi really quick. We got the Drunken Chef up in here. Welcome, welcome. I'm seeing a Charlie Sabrine. Welcome. And Charlie saying about how you crisp up some chicken wings when you're smoking them. Two things that I've learned is one, the temperatures have to be a little bit higher or else you're going to get a kind of like a rubbery skin. And then also something that I found, and you can find this at Walmart, is duck fat spray. So you basically spray that onto your chicken, and then you can basically put your rub on. And this thing gives a nice, a very nice crisp to the chicken. Because I've been there. Usually in my mind, everything is great, low and slow barbecue, and you put in chicken, and the flavor is great. It's super juicy, but then you're biting into that skin, and it's like, it's really rubbery. You can like barely even pull on it. Or tug on it. So right on it's pretty funny that looking at Brian's comment, the beekeeper, and he's like, all right, I'm pretty much set. Now, as far as mineral oil goes, is there a specific brand that you like using?
Yeah, I use Booze Blocks for the most part. There's another brand. I think it's called Butcher Block as well that I use if Booze Blocks is out or something like that. They're really good. Okay. There's a ton of stuff out there. And a lot of the stuff that I've done when I was doing my research, it's not necessarily so much, the brand that you use. It's the process in which how you use it. Because you really want to get that absorption into the wood. If you just wipe it on and then wipe it off, you don't get a lot of absorption, because you want to protect the wood. I mean, the boards, if you take care of them, they'll last you, forever. I mean, they'll a super long time. So, yeah.
Right on. Now, for those that are hopping in and you're just joining the show, we're basically chatting with Trent from Zappen Woodworks. His Instagram, basically how I found Trent is, I'm going to show, this is his Instagram page that I found him through, and very, very awesome as far as the exotic woods that he uses. So I did put a link to Trent's Instagram page. So if you did want to go check it out, or if you're actually just watching this, after we're done with the live stream, so you can check out the Instagram link there and then go, browse that and give him a follow. But yeah, I am just looking through that. And apparently it looks like one of the last ones you did, it looks like that's the UCLA logo with the bear on that.
That looks like it turned out pretty cool.
Yeah, I got a lot of flack from a lot of friends that went to USC. They're like, you're no longer my friend." But the USC one I just finished.
Okay, nice.
I'll be posting that one tomorrow, just in case there's any USC fans out here.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
My uncle gave me some shit too because I went to LSU and my whole family's in Louisiana, so they're like, "What about LSU and the Saints?"
Yeah.
Well, order one and I'll make one.
Yeah, exactly. Man, yeah, I'm just right now I'm just browsing the
little board right there. Yeah,
so
that's quilted maple.
Okay, was this the sushi board?
No, the sushi board was the one next to it. But that's a little cheese board or charcuterie.
Oh, board. Charcuterie. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's the sushi board that I made.
And now is this the black wood that you were talking about?
No, the wood on the outside is the black wood that I was talking about. People sometimes mistake it for like ebony.
Oh, okay.
When you cut inside it, you get these patterns.
Yeah, the patterns are insane.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. That is very cool. Yeah, I just love the all the
black limbos.
Yeah, so this is black limb on the outside or inside?
On the inside. The outside is wenge.
What is it called?
Wenge.
Okay. Right on. I thought you were calling me a bad name. No, what'd you call me, man? No, that's cool though. Yeah, the quilted maple. That. I mean, the cool thing is, even if you hold it up an inch away from your face, it looks 3-dimensional.
Yeah, so on that picture right there, the board, the piece on the left is what quilted maple looks like before you cut into it.
Okay.
And then that's what it looks like when you cut into it. And that's before it was finished.
Wow. That is absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
That is insane. Nice. Now, one of the comments, they were asking if do you make knife handles?
I don't. I don't have a lathe. I haven't really ventured into that. No one's really asked. I love knives though. I have a lot of different knives, but I haven't tried that. The closest thing that I've made to a knife handle was my son wanted to make a battle axe, so I think you saw him standing there with the battle axe.
Oh yeah. I think I have it.
We made that. That's the closest thing I've made to a
That's
knife.
Cool.
Yeah.
That is beautiful. That's awesome.
Yeah. So
maybe
one day to do a knife handles and
nice
stuff like that. But
right on. Nice. Meredith is asking, what kind of laser do you use?
It's a cheap Chinese laser, if I'm being honest.
Nice.
It was one of those things where I started getting people asking to, can you burn our logo? Can you do this? Can you do that? And it was like, okay. My wife's like, well, you know what? This is kind of taken off, so why don't we just reinvest? So we got a laser. It's called Yora Home is the name of the laser brand that I use. It works great. It just it's not the most expensive one out there. Like a really nice one, you're probably looking at $3,500. One that I got, I think we got the 40-watt laser, and I think it was like $500, $500-600. But it does the job. Like it allows you to burn, real heavy or real light or whatever you're trying to do. So it does the job. It's great.
Right on. A channel called TPC says, Wenge is the land of splinters. Do you ever run into getting a lot of splinters while you're woodworking?
Yeah. So the one wood that I use all the time because it gives a black effect is the wenge wood. And
okay, wenge. Okay.
I literally, like, my hands are just, now I get splinters and I don't feel them anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, because Wenge, you can take, you can run your hand over most wood, but like,
Yeah.
I mean, you do that and you end up with like 3 splinters. Even if after it's sanded, you have to be real careful, because if you don't sand it right, it'll be one little popping up, and you run your hand across. You got to get in there. Yeah.
Wow.
So that's the one wood I very cautious with.
Man. Yeah, I remember when we got our house, my friend, we had this ugly carpet when we moved in. And so we needed to pull out this floor heater. And so my friend's pulling up the carpet just to look underneath. And he's like, dude, you need to rip these carpets up. And I'm like, and I mind you, I am clueless about any of this, like, this. And he's like, you have original oak flooring underneath. And so he's like, if you rip this stuff up, dude, you put, sand your floors, do a nice stain if you want to, and it's amazing. Anyway, so long story short, we're doing that. But I remember when you were saying about, like, so I'm feeling around, just because when they put the carpet down, they staple it. And so you're feeling for staples, but there's sometimes where you're feeling and you pick up a splinter and you're like, dang it. Yeah. That sucks, man. But getting splinters are no fun. But I guess if what you're saying is you get so used to it, you're like, all right, whatever.
I'm still waiting for a kickback. Every now and then on the table saw, or even on my chop saw. My chop saw is weird. I don't know why, but every now and then I had a bruise for about 3 months on my thumb. I was cutting a piece of wood and it just kicked back and just created this gnarly line of like internal bleeding on my thumb. And I'm just waiting for one to go through my jugular or something.
That's funny.
Yeah, pieces blow up on me. It's bad. They go flying. Yeah, it's crazy, but it's fun. It's relaxing.
Yeah,
it allows me to escape, which is nice. Not my family. I love my family, but just the stupidity of the world right now.
Yeah. Pickles Barbecue says, what is your, now when looking at woods that you would normally use in an offset smoker and you're smoking with, have you ever tried smoking with exotic woods? Or is that just like, that's just ridiculous? It's one of those things. It's almost like you just try it out just for the experimentation. But
I've thought about it, because I've got pecan, I've got cherry, I've got red oak, I got white oak, I have all those woods that I smoke with. Yeah. Right out in my backyard right now. And those are all hardwoods, but no, at the cost of, some of these, now I have a crap ton of tamarind, because the bugs like tamarind. Mm-hmm. So like mango and tamarind and any fruit or spice tree, the bugs love them. It's good eating for them. So a lot of times when I'm doing certain boards, I got to trim a lot of stuff off. And so I've got a lot of scrap of that. Maybe I'll throw that in and cook with the tamarind or the mango.
Is it just now? Why do as far as like the bugs like that? Is it just because it's like a sweet wood?
Yeah, it's sweet. It's not poisonous. It won't kill it. All the woods that I use though are food safe. The only thing you have to worry about, like I had a student of mine, the mom came in the other day and I have this board there and it's got some walnut in it. And she goes, oh my God, that board's absolutely beautiful. I'd buy it right now. She goes, but my son is like crazy allergic to walnut. Like if a piece of wood touches him, he'll break out. And I'm like, oh, okay. So you always have that, as a personal thing that you have to kind of be aware of. But the bugs like the woods that are, usually fruit trees or spice trees or anything along those lines, because it's good eating.
Right on. Now, if you can, could you walk us through,
you know, kind of like a start to finish when you're making a board and you know, you have a customer that's like, oh, I would like, you know, this exotic wood, this exotic wood, this exotic wood, and this size. Could you kind of walk us start to finish, like your thought process and kind of how you get from you just have, you know, sheets of wood to here is the end product that you're delivering?
Yeah. So a lot of times, you know, I'll have people that go, you know, I like that board right there. They'll go on my Instagram page and they go, I like a board similar to that, but I like those colors, and I don't care what you do. I like what you do, so it's up to you. I think you're one of the first people that said, I want that color wood, I want that type of wood, and then you sent me a PDF or something, and you basically made the board for me. And then I just went and go, okay, I'll cut it and put it all together.
Yeah.
But so when I'm putting a board together, I look at the different colors. I put different colors together. I think about the different patterns. There's so much you can do when you're making a cutting board.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's people out there that make just crazy stuff. You know, like they have these boards called chaos boards. And it is exactly that. But that just gives me anxiety. Like, I try to make boards that literally when you display whatever you're cooking, it won't take away from the meat. It just make it look better, right? Because when you're cooking, it's all about sight, smell, taste, touch. It's everything. You know, you're messing with the rub the morning before. You're trying to find that perfect spice, and then you get the meat on the grill. Are you going to reverse sear? Are you going to sear it first? However you're going to do it. But then when you bring the food out for the people you're cooking for them it's visual.
Yeah.
Right? And then the smell and all that, and everybody is hoping it's perfect. So, you know, when I try to make a board, I want it to be really clean and I guess simple, but let the wood kind of do the talking for itself.
Yeah.
You know, you have checkered patterns, you can do all these other, but again, that's a lot that goes on with the eyes, and that would take away from, you know, whatever you're cooking. So I really try to put some pieces together, look at it all. My daughter's super artsy fartsy. So I'll bring her out into the garage and what do you think? And she'll be like, oh, no, let's do this, and this is why I think you should do that. And every time she's come out, she's nailed it. So I ask sometimes when I'm not feeling very creative. And then once I have a general idea, I cut the wood, depending on if I'm going to do what they call an end grain or an edge grain type cutting board. I cut the wood. I find the pattern that I'm looking for. And sometimes that takes a day or two until you can really kind of see everything that's happening with the wood. Because there's so many different combinations that you can use. Then I square everything up, and then you glue it together. And then you just got to plane it up. You know, clean it up, plane it, square it up, and then lots of sanding. And then if they want a juice groove, I try to make big juice grooves, not these little 1/8 inch deep juice grooves that if they had to catch some juice, you know, it just overflows and makes a mess.
Oh yeah.
So I try to make them big. That was another reason why I wanted to make a cutting board, was because the ones that I had were horrible. And every Christmas Eve I do a big get together. We do like a 7-bone tomahawk roast for Christmas Eve, and friends come over who don't have anything to do that night, and cut into that thing, and juices just naturally come out. No matter, you let it rest for 45 minutes, juices still come out, and then it makes them all over the counter.
Absolutely.
So once you get the juice grooves in, then I just go in and season it, and I usually take pictures for people as the process goes, so that way, one, they know I'm working on their board, and two, it's always fun to see the progression. And then at the very end, my youngest daughter, she'll video and we'll do the reveal. I'll put the oil on it, and she's got the the phone, and she's videotaping it, and she usually puts some commentary on there, and we wake up the board, and some boards it's like, wow, that's a big difference. So,
now with the oil that you're using, that's still like just like the mineral oil?
Yeah, that's the food grade. I don't put anything on there that until it's ready to be seasoned, nothing goes on there.
Right on. I see a few people in the chat that are hopping in. Let me say hi really quick. We see Anonymous today. He says he is doing a fat cap up with the 5 series. Just pulled 2 off a few hours ago. It was perfect. That's awesome. That is awesome to hear. We got Cypress Blue. She is back. What's going on? We got Smokin' Joe's Pit Barbecue. Hey, Joe, check this out. I was actually able to find ranch water. Trent, have you ever heard of this stuff?
No, I haven't.
So it's those it's like those trends that are like those it's kind of like those seltzer water, and it has kind of like a spike to it, but I was able to actually find some at the local store, and I must say that these are actually pretty good. They are not too bad. So let's see, is anyone else in here? Ooh, we got Hobo Nichols Barbecue Testing and Laboratory. What is going on, man? So it looks like we have pretty much the whole barbecue community out here tonight. So welcome. Pickles Barbecue asks Trent, do you have any plans in selling in stores, or is it right now, is it pretty much just, you're on Instagram and then you kind of just,
Yeah, it's basically special order right now. I mean,
right on.
I don't know where it'll go if it continues to go, and people. I don't ever see it going there, but you never know what's going to happen. But no, I just do special orders. People want something, I want to make it for them. I've shipped to Connecticut, all the way to Washington, Arizona, all over the country.
Wow.
I doubt it. I really doubt it.
That's funny. Yeah. And that's the thing. It's one of those, it's like looking at your boards. It's not something that there's nothing mass produced about it. It's like, these are one-offs. These are custom, it's like each one is unique. So it's more, I would look at it like, I think you were saying you do like local fairs and stuff like that.
Yeah, I've done some local fairs. I got a couple moms in October. They want to do a like a show, have a party at their house, kind of like a candle party.
Yeah.
But with the cutting boards, the different things that I do, and they're like, "Oh, we'll have a big party, and we'll display, and then we'll go that route." I'm like, "Oh, it's actually not a bad idea. I could do that stuff online too." So but yeah, I've just gotten a really good response from friends and family, and then a bunch of referrals, and it's keeping me busy. It keeps me busy, which I love, but it doesn't take too much time from the family, which I love.
Yeah.
And if it took off, then I'd have to make a decision on what I do with my martial arts schools.
Yeah. Or just drop the kids out of school and have them woodworking all day long,
Right? Yeah.
School's overrated, kids. Trust me. You're going to want to learn a good craft right now and then run with it. That's funny. That is funny. So so again, if anyone is hopping in, we are chatting right now with Trent from Zappen Woodworks. So Trent, if anyone's watching this, or if they're going to watch it in later, just because we're going to keep it up on our YouTube page, if anyone is, says, hey, I want to get a custom board, is it basically just going to, you know, your Instagram page and just reaching out to you?
Yeah, just reach out to me. And you know, we can exchange information and talk about what you want. And you know, I need to know what sizes you want. You know, I think that, you know, like that board you're looking at right there is the same
Yeah.
size as the board that I just made for you. Actually, I think it's about 2 inches bigger. I think it's 27 by 18.
Wow.
I made that for my my plumber. Yeah. He's like, he saw me woodworking and he's like, I want one. It's got to be 27 by 18 because, like you, he wanted to put a brisket on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whatever. So
Yeah.
I think I might just start calling them my brisket boards.
There you go. Hey, I like that. Start a brisket series.
But yeah, you just reach out to me and I'll get back to you and we'll figure out what size and what, you know, kind of combination you have and you know, get everybody taken care of. Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah. So go up a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, sure. Where are we going?
So right there, that middle one. Yeah.
This one?
Yeah. So that board right there is black limba. So now click out of it.
Okay.
And now go up. And that board is that board. Nope.
Oh, wow. So that's basically, this is after the mineral oil and beeswax?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's crazy. Yeah.
So here's that's the trippy thing is, and I guess I'm assuming that this board applies to this board right here.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah. So there's some stuff that I've made, and mind you, it's not like food stuff, but like I've rubbed like tung oil into some wood things, and it's just, you know, you see these beautiful exotic colors, and they're beautiful as it is. Like this, even if you didn't rub anything to it, you're like, that is a cool design. It's beautiful. And then you start rubbing mineral oil into it and the grains just like everything, it just
pops.
Yeah, pops. It brings almost life into it. And then you just see not only a dynamic color range, but yeah, you just see all the detail in the grain of the wood. It is absolutely beautiful. And I think so is this basically you're just pouring on
yeah, so that's like a reveal for actually one of my students up in Menlo Park.
Okay.
He wanted a board. He's 11 years old, and I think he's cooked probably more Wagyu beef.
Wow.
At 11 years old than I have, or probably most on this channel have his whole life. He loves to cook.
Wow.
So for his, I think it was for his birthday or Christmas, I made him this board.
So what do his parents do for a living that they can afford to get Wagyu all the time?
Oh yeah, they're so dad was the largest, and I don't know if I should actually say this online, but maybe it's okay, but he was the largest fundraiser for Obama all 8 years. He's very big on that side of the world, I guess you could say.
Yeah. Nice. And I love I think when I was first browsing, you know how you kind of scroll to get and obviously on this page, you know, we love everything America. So I think the first post you have here is the flag little clock thing right there. And that's awesome, man.
Yeah. So my wife, we were at a family's house and they had like a wine barrel bottom and it had some distressed like red, white, and blue, and they made a clock out of it. My wife's like, "Oh, I really like that." I'm like, "Well, I could make that." So I went home and bought the wood, and
nice.
That's all stained. And made the clock.
Wow.
You know? And like all the wood, there's not any stain. That's all natural color.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing that, you know, trips me out in you know, obviously when you're, you know, new into woodworking, you're like, oh, I can buy, you know, cheap, you know, kit wood, whatever, and then you know, I can then buy whatever stain I want, and it, you know, it gives a beautiful, nice color. But then just to realize that, like, oh, there's woods that you put some, have that built into it, you know. So Laura says, can you make a board that's big enough for a whole hog? So forget these tiny brisket boards. How big?
I would love the challenge. That's for
Yeah.
sure.
But I think
I can make an island top if that's what
there
you're
you
looking
go.
for. Yeah.
So, but here's the thing. So with Laura up in Canada, I think it'd be more of like a moose spread. So I think like we'd need how big we can get this thing.
Basically need a workbench.
Yeah.
Top.
But I mean, as far as like your other projects, you know, as far as like the honeydews around the house, have you been affected as far as like the lumber prices rising? Or is that kind of like, it's not enough to, it's not like you're building.
I'm going to be affected when I start framing out the barbecue island that I want to do. And then not recently, but I think about 4 years ago, for about 8 years, we did a haunted house every year, and I would,
oh, cool,
you know, and we were ranked in the top 5 in Southern California.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we were number 3 ahead of Not Scary Farm. We were only behind like Universal, and I can't remember who the other one was right now. But the last time we did it, I framed out basically a 3,600 square foot haunted house inside my dojo, and it cost me about, I don't know, $500 to do it.
Yeah.
And I was doing the math this time because we're talking about doing it again this year.
Okay.
It costs about $2,500. Yeah,
wow,
it's
crazy.
Yeah, so that's going to affect whether or not we do the haunted house or not, and yeah.
Wow.
So I will be affected here shortly, especially when I start working on the barbecue island and the haunted house.
Nice. Well, if you need any barbecues or barbecue tools, just hit me up. I can just look at my backyard and be like, all right, I'll just take this. I have too many barbecues right here. So before we wrap up tonight, looking at all your woodworking tools, what would you say is your favorite woodworking tool and why?
My favorite, it would be a toss-up between the table saw and the planer. Originally, the joiner was probably my favorite because I could get a flat side.
Yeah.
But as I have kind of gotten more into this, I found like I'll get some wood that have twists in it, so I can glue one side down, put a little wedge on the other side, and run it through my planer to get a flat side, and then I flip it over and I get a flat side. And my planer is it's a beast. It just chews stuff up, which is great. It's thrown stuff back at me.
Wow.
So it is a little scary at times if I'm not careful, but I would say between the table saw and the planer, they're close 1-2, I would say.
Right on. Yeah. Now when it comes to your planer, isn't that blade like it's about like 6 inches, like a circle blade, and you can kind of just run your.
It's 13 inches.
Wow. Wait. Sorry. Not.
You're thinking the joiner.
Joiner. Yeah.
Yeah, the joiner is 6 inches. I think if I started all over again, I would get an 8-inch joiner because you can do a little bit more with that. There's a lot of times because a lot of the boards I get are 7 to 8 inches wide, so I can't plane those. I have to cut those down. So that's where the planers come in handy because I can just create a little jig, run it through, get a flat side. So, yeah. Right on.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps it up. We are at the 1 hour mark. It didn't even feel like an hour. That for whatever it feels like it just it went by just like that. So for those that do want to hit up Trent, there is a link in the description. Go check out the barbecue. Go check out Zappen Woodworks. And then, there's a link down there, or you can just go on to Instagram and just type in Zappen _Woodworks. And then all you have to do is hit that message button. And if you do reach out to him, just say, you know, the grill sergeant sent you, and, you know, maybe he'll rub it a little extra mineral oil on or throw out a discount. But definitely, Trent, thank you for being on the late night live tonight. Personally, for the board that I have, I absolutely love it. And it's great to now have something that can actually hold a brisket. And so, yeah, I absolutely love everything about it. And also, I don't know if you guys saw this, and I've actually never seen this done on a board before, but it's these little, what do you call these? Just like, you know,
just little rubber feet.
Yeah, little rubber feet. And what's smart about it is, because this board is, how many pounds would you say this board is?
I would say that board's probably close to 12 pounds.
I mean, I'm getting a good workout. It has to be a little bit heavier than that, but anyway, yeah. I mean, it's a heavy board, but the little feet on it allows you to grab your hands underneath. So if you need to move it or transport it, it's a lot easier than if it was just flat. So I absolutely love the thickness on it is insane. Is this, I mean, what would you say that is? Like, I mean, that's definitely well over an inch. But yeah, no, I love everything about this board, and especially that you got the custom, you know, the grill sergeant thing in there. So Trent, I do want to say thank you, buddy.
There we are.
So, but anyway,
under an inch and a half.
About an inch and a half.
Yeah,
oh,
just
dang.
Under.
Right on. Very cool. Well, guys, thank you guys for hopping in tonight. This was definitely a fun live. Sorry that Jared couldn't make it, but hopefully he'll be on the next one. But other than that, we will catch you guys on the next one. And hey, Trent, thank you for hopping on, man.
Thank you. Cheers.
All right. Cheers. Definitely, man. That was a awesome live. So Trent, hang out in the green room really quick, and then we'll chat after the show. So, all right, guys. Catch you later, right? Cheers.
And now, folks, it's time to say goodnight. We sincerely appreciate your patronage and hope we've succeeded in bringing you an enjoyable evening of entertainment. Please drive home carefully and come back again soon. Good night.